Penn State season over. Was this a successful season for Penn State, Chris?
Yes. Was
it though? Was it? I don't think this does that much for James Franklin in the big picture, because you did all those things, but you did the same thing that you do every single year. And yes, you got to the Final Four, okay? But you got through the regular season. You didn't get particularly close to beating Ohio State. You didn't.
No, you did. You were 7 points. You were losses. It was 7 points to Ohio State. It was close with Oregon, close with Notre Dame, and those are your losses again. It's like, you're right.
Yes.
That is close, but not over the top is the whole thing.
Do you think it matters though that in those losses, the Ohio State losses a lot of the time, the Michigan losses previously, I'm not going to say they haven't been competitive, but you couldn't walk away from those games saying like, oh, they should have won that or they could have won that. It was like, well, if 8 different things go wrong, they're in it. Like, they don't necessarily get blown out, but it feels like, they lose to Michigan by like, what was it? The double digits, but Michigan doesn't throw a pass in the second half. They don't have Jim Harbaugh. And it's like, it felt like they were a mile away from Michigan last year. This year, do you think it matters that like you get to this game against Notre Dame, who might be the national champion, 10 days from now, and like you probably should have won this game. Not even could have. You probably should have.
You blow a 10-point lead late in the first half. You blow a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter.
And you can't run a 2-minute drill.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's tough because what happens if it's Ohio State and Notre Dame in the national championship? And you're like, look, our 3 losses were to the 2 teams who played for the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
And the only team that went undefeated in the regular season. It's like,
but that's the thing. Great coaches win games that they're not expected to win, or win games that are coin flips, and he hasn't done a lot of that. Like that is what it is.
And so to flip. Okay, so what are your wins this year? You beat Illinois, okay, but you're better than Illinois. James Franklin wins. You beat SMU, ranked 11th or 10th or something like that. Well, you're better than SMU. You beat Boise State
with turnovers.
Top 10 teams. You beat Boise State, top 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
But you're better than Boise State, That's the thing with James Franklin, is that he doesn't beat the teams that are better than his team or are equal to his team. I think because of the nature of the 12-team playoff, to win 2 games to get there and lose on a last-second field goal in the semifinal, like, you're like, look, Penn State was this close to going to the national championship. This doesn't feel like some of those others where it's like, man, Penn State is just not on that level. They were this close to being on that
level.
Is
kind of a Rorschach test. Like, if you hate James Franklin, it's easy to be like, oh, big game James again. And if you like want to defend him, it's like, we were in the Final Four. We outplayed Notre Dame for most of this game. We should have been there. You can interpret it any way you want, but at the end of the day, like, it's a missed opportunity. And like, we've been saying like Penn State's probably the biggest beneficiary of the 12-team playoff. You might not be back here again for a little bit. Like, it may take a while. Like, you got a very nice road. You got a very nice road. Like, being able to not win the Big Ten, but get to the Final Four and be, a touchdown favorite in 2 games, like, you're not probably going to get that opportunity very many times. And so I think when you look at it from the big picture there, like that's tough. And
you're losing Abdul Carter, and I assume Tyler Warren,
maybe probably Drew Aller. We'll see.
Probably not Drew Aller at this point. I think he's going to. I mean, look, we'll talk about it on the pod later at some point. But Carson Beck's coming back too. I think Drew Aller's coming back. He didn't play his way into top 10 pick talk, I think. And
12 of 23 for 135 yards. I don't know that got the scouts all hot and bothered. I'm not sure.
And perhaps because of the way he went out. I know that the Ohio State loss was a motivator for him to decide to come back. And I'm sure this will be too. So we'll see on that. But like, if Notre Dame had lost this game, and you leave it saying, well, we beat Georgia, to get to the semifinals. So like, we can feel good about that. That's the thing with Penn State. You don't have that win. Like Boise State and SMU, I think they're good wins, but you're better than those teams. You didn't have that winner, and that's where it's going to be tough.